And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! KO! Here's the cover.
Hey guys, we're back here with a video today. This time featuring the Tier 8 French Wheelie Boy, the Lynx 6x6. Yeah, so we got two games here. We're going for the third Mark of Excellence. Spoiler alert, this game actually happened after the third Mark of Excellence. I didn't have another game to pair with it, and I had this one the next day after, so figure instead of having one, have two games. So we're on Highway, we're on the good spawn for light tanks, and we're going to do the play that you should pretty much always do in every scout on this map from this spawn, because the spawns they're a bit unbalanced in terms of light tank gameplay, in my opinion. With the spawn on the left side of the cap circle, it's very easy for your team to just win control of the 1-2 line instantly. Though this game, the LTTB does actually provide a little bit of a thorn in my side, as I'm trying to go over and just spot the ridge line, but it's very easy to just run along their ridge line most of the time and absolutely just light them up and get them taken out of the game quite quickly. This time it's going to prove a little bit more difficult and a little bit more hairy of a situation due to those tanks pushing out into the open. And as you can see, we've got ourselves in a bit of a pickle here, as a Black Diamond has determined that it is his sole life purpose to YOLO me and take me out of the game. We're going to make that as hard as possible for him, as we're going to do loops, spin around, and try to make it, there's a load HE round and get our first shot of damage in the game. Make it as difficult as possible for him to get a shot onto us. Then we lock on, disable the speedman for a second, and take him out of the game for our first kill. And you'll notice in that time we were trying to dodge the Black Diamond, we picked up 4,000 assisted damage, just like that. And the only one doing damage to us is that LTTB. He's kind of, like I said, being a thorn in our side, and we already have our next contestant here is the Yag Panther 2. It's now YOLOing in to try to take us out of the game. It's not going so well for him. We actually make a mistake there. We should have just actually aimed, not RBRT, because that hit his upper plate, but then he gets taken out of the game. And just like that, we've done 6,000 assists. Yeah, very difficult. It helps when the enemy team makes it quite easy and just decides to, let's YOLO the light tank. It's not a good idea, guys. There's better ways to counter scouts than just YOLOing out into the open. Yeah, shocker, I know. So instead of fighting that LTTB initially, I was like, let's push up on the ridgeline a bit. But I still see a lot of shell tracers coming out that way, and I'd like to try to support our TDs that are out there if we can. And see if we can't light up. I know we have 2 Iron Rains, I believe, on any team. That's probably what is out there if you spot a TS5. And then an Iron Rain, secondly, due to the insane camo of that thing. And hopefully we can get some of our TDs to start firing that way and take them out of this game. Because if you sit here in a TD and a light tank does this, and you have fire support from that 1-2 line, you can get those guys taken out of the game quite quickly, because it's very hard to retreat. There's no cover. And yeah, it's just not a good place to be at in your tank destroyers. Which I would highly recommend against. We actually land an HE shell all across the map, RBRT there, but it doesn't pen. That is something to note with this tank, is that it does get pretty good HE shells, as do most of the EBRs, or the Wheelie Boys. They all get 75 millimeters of HE pen, which for the smaller caliber gun that this is, it's a 90 millimeter gun, is quite good. So that's why my equipment loadout, I actually run the ammo swapper along with the optics, gun rammer, and vertical stabilizers. Just to have that flexibility to, when I find a target or get around the rear of a tank that I can pen with those HE rounds, I can switch quickly and get 320 alpha as opposed to 240. And up our DPM pretty significantly. But and here we get the rear of a TS5, and yeah, like I said, 320 damage. And now the LTTB has... He's become annoyed with us. So I can have a pretty good indication after playing the game for so long when somebody's annoyed and wants to YOLO and just like is hell-bent on getting rid of me here. So rather than trying to fight him, because he has better DPM, especially frontally, because I'm not going to pen HE rounds too consistently on him, and it's going to be quite hard for me to hit the LTTB, and I'm lower health, I'm going to retreat back at this point. Our game's pretty much won. Our team has total map control, but I don't want to lose my tank, and I'm trying to get as much out of this game as possible. even though we've already got the third MOE in this game, you can see on my gun barrel. But, yeah. So, it's always key to know when to fall backwards. We spot up the iron ring. You can see here I'm looking for a shot, but we went unspotted at the last second. And now we can turn our attention back to the tanks pushing in. LTTB is pushing in, and I don't know what his plan is here, but he gets absolutely annihilated by the TS5 and I believe ammo rack there for about 500 damage. So now all that's left is 3 TDs. 2 of them are on the 1-2 line, and there is definitely an iron rain in this area somewhere as he spots us. We got to be careful because we're already one shot here. We pop an HE shell in, and then we're going to just sit behind this building here and wait out until our team can start pushing out into him or his attention gets distracted. And he gets taken to a one-shot. We pop out and finish him off here with the 15 damage left. And now we just have some shots into the TS5. The low APCR because he's not... I don't know, I just feel like I'd have a better chance of bending him that way instead of the HE shell. We almost get a reload, but then our friendly Vanguard finishes him off. So that's our first game done and wrapped on Highway. Again, it's a spawn that's pretty easy for a scout tank. You just go to that middle area where I did, and you generally will have a good game. As we finish with 2,300 damage, 3 kills, 2,100 base XP, and 6,600 assisted damage. Along with the patrol duty and the scout medal. Shout out King North. Yeah, so a great result on a map that is very good for a light tank. So next game we will be on the map Sand River, which is another good light tank map. And this time we're platooned up with Swindle and I believe Jokers in their tier 8 TDs. Helped me get a little bit of assisted damage from guys that I know are going to pen their shots, generally speaking. And something to note with the EBR, or the Lynx, I keep saying EBR, the Lynx, is that it actually does have the best view range, I believe, out of the entire line. When you max it out, it's got 440 meters view range because this tank actually received some buffs fairly recently, maybe within the past year or two, I don't remember. But it actually has the same view range as the tier 10 EBR. But it's still not good view range. It's just kind of, it's usable at tier 8. And generally, I used to like to go to where that like RU's at, but on the other side, the other ramp, the spot anything crossing up. But with the view range of this thing, not necessarily having the best reach out to extend that vision. And now this side we're able to probably get our view range out a little bit easier as we do some stunt tricks with the T49 team. I know you guys didn't think I was actually a performative driver. And we spot out 2 T32s here in the distance at about 360 meters, which as long as I don't fire here, I should be able to keep them lit up for my team. And that's my goal at this point. Again, this is before the 30 mark, so I'm looking to get as much assisted damage as possible. Because getting the assist is just so crucial to getting that 3 MOEs and advancing your MOEs at this stage. So we're not firing. It's going to struggle to pen these guys. We have 223 APCR pen, but like I said, even at this range, it's going to struggle with a haul down or even just a frontally facing T32. So you can start seeing a little bit of assist damage coming on these guys. And I think I'm probably going to take a risk. Again, like, not going to pen. I'd be more beneficial either rotating the map somewhere else or just staying there unspotted and picking up assist damage, because our penetration is just not going to cut it. So we spot up the M4190, snapshot a shell into him for a little bit of damage in here. And we're already up to about 1,800 combined. I think we needed about 4,000 plus to progress the MOE and like 3,200 to not drop a lot at this point. Yeah, so we saw we got a small shot on the Panther 2. We're struggling a little bit with the gun elevation on this tank, which it kind of lacks a little bit of. Yeah, so we do pick up the drive wheel of the Panther 2. Unfortunately, when you do track him, we are going to get assist damage from this right here, because I believe somebody does absolutely slap him. Yep, there we go. We get a whole bunch of assisted damage from the T49 and then somebody else. But the problem is when you're going for these marks of excellence, when you get your assist damage, when it's split between spotting and the tracking damage, it takes whichever one's higher and calculates it and just doesn't count the rest. So it's kind of unfortunate. I wish that wasn't the system. I think it's kind of silly, but it is what it is. Not much we can do about it. So at this stage in the game, rather than pushing into two T-32s and a platoon, we spot up the VK-45, who appears to be quite alone. He got absolutely slapped by one of my platoon mates for about 900 damage, which is a max roll out of the ISU, which is absolutely disgusting, and we're able to finish him off without even getting spotted. So now we're going to rotate back into the center of the map. Now this is the position I was talking about to start the game. It's generally a good spot also to go for your light tanks, but I just didn't feel like I had the rerange to work there too well, and we were able to get more assist damage in the other location. Now, we try to load an HE shell here to guarantee the kill on the RU, but really we should have just fired APCR. He was 245 health. There's a chance we do high roll and kill him. Regardless, we would have got more damage out of that than just hitting the tracks of the HE shells. So yeah, now we're just, again, we have vision control. All their lights are dead. We spot up some of their TDs back in the base. We're able to get some easy shots into these guys, track the Panzerknacker. At this point, I'm probably going for more tracking damage than I am assist, because I think we have more track assist right now than we do spotting assist. Even though we have more ribbons for spotting assist, I think our actual damage total is a little bit more in that scenario. Again, T-32 at this angle would be quite hard to pen at this range, so it's better, instead of wasting our time there, we spot maybe an opportunity to flank. There's a heavy tank at like D7 that we should potentially surprise and get a few shots in behind him while he's looking at our team ahead on the A line. And sure enough, there's the M6Y, the Tier 9 American heavy tank. And I'm not going to go in on that right now because he reacted quite quickly. It gives me the ideal after we get our second shot is to retreat here and not press our luck too much. Again, trying to just get as much out of the game as possible. I know we're on full health, but quite quickly you could get set on fire. It's something like that. Now, something to note with the Lynx as well as the other EBRs is that you do have two travel modes in this tank. One, you have better gun handling, but you're much slower. I think so. The top speed on this is only like 58 kilometers an hour in the normal mode. And then you have a travel or speed mode where you go up to 72, I believe. But your gun handling on the move gets way worse as we get a lucky snapshot into the side of the Hori 1 and avoid the T-32's return shot. So something I'll talk about right here is with that travel mode, it's great to drive around when you're not firing at anybody in because you're able to relocate super easily. Or in that last game you saw with the Black Diamond. But with like a target like this FE42, this Artie, you can see I actually disable it at the last second for half a second as I'm auto-locking so that my gun handling gets significantly better in that moment, and then I immediately press it left on the D-pad again and do something similar and then drive away. So that's something you can kind of use with these tanks, is not trying to RBRT while you're in that speed mode because it will generally not be as accurate and you miss shots that would be easy penetrations otherwise. And it said we get a little bit more assist damage, up to 6k combined, so I'm pretty confident we have this now. As we spot, we get some easy side shots into this Hori 1. Actually hoping to set him on fire because at this point that tank is quite easy acceptable to that. And now he's looking at us. I don't really want to get ammo racked or something. Unfortunately, that shot we could have just let aim a little bit more, and this guy's going to get taken out, and the game is done just like that. And we finish with 2 kills, 3,300 damage, 3,200 assists. Again, it's split between tracked and actually spotting damage. And yeah, 1,900 base XP, a solid game in the Lynx to finish off the 3 marks of excellence grind. And there they are, 3 white stripes on the barrel now. So generally a tank I've enjoyed. Yeah, now I just got 1 tier 8 light to go, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.